Welcome back to Toe the Line. My guest today fights Jonny Lawson at BKB 32 on May 21st. It's Reece Too Sharp Murray. Reece, how you doing?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm good. Let's talk a bit about your last fight. A bit of a weird one. Unfortunately, you weren't able to get the win there at BKB 29, but a lot of commotion happened kind of right before you went out. We had an altercation in the crowd. They kicked everyone out and you fought behind closed doors. Not only that, you had a massive delay before you came out as well. Did that
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of play into how you performed that night?
Obviously, it wasn't great, but I'm a fighter, so regardless, how we're gonna fight anyway. I had issues going into that camp, but regardless to that, so it didn't really matter to me. So yeah, it was a bit of a nightmare, but it is what it is.
Fair play for you and Tony for fighting that night. It would have been very easy for you to say, we're not fighting and still have your purses paid.
Yeah, yeah, it would have done, but I think we're both cut from the same cloth. We're not like that, we just wanted to scrap regardless. So it was what it was.
Again, like we come to expect from fighters like you and Tony, a really high level performance, really high level boxing on the show. You weren't able to get the win. It came down to a points decision, but it was really close. What do you think? Kind of what went wrong for you there?
Obviously, I hadn't come out with this. There's only a few people that knew, but I had a really bad injured hand going into that fight, and I didn't. I tried not to throw it as much, and in first round, I landed clean on him, and it went at first, and I threw, and it just shattered straight away. So I was sort of like I was still throwing it because it was what it was. Like it was broke anyway, so it didn't really matter. So I was just throwing it. I was gonna get through it. But yeah, I was fighting with a smashed hand from first round. Obviously, taking it away from Tony, put on a class performance that night. Like I classed myself as a better boxer, and he basically outboxed me. Like that was a big shock to me. I thought he was going to come out and try and take my head off, and I was going to be one outclassing him. But hats off to him. He was a great fighter. He did his job well.
Yeah, and watching that fight back, you can kind of see, Tony is the one who's kind of dictating. He's throwing more punches. But both of you it was a really kind of calculated and smart fight from
Yeah,
each of you. And I suppose it makes sense that you mentioned a hand injury because you can kind of see, the quantity of punches coming from each of you. Tony's above in that respect.
yeah, no. I mean, he hurt me bad in that fight. Not like it never dazed me, but like the after effects of that fight, it was terrible. That's why no one's seen me for so long because I had a massive hole in my lip. It was like you could fit a grape in it. My teeth were chipped. I had a broken rib. Both of my hands were broken. My nose was shattered. All my cheek and both my eyes were swollen shut. It were a nasty, brutal fight. That's why no one's seen anything of me because I've just been relaxing really and just having a bit of time off. I was pretty busy last year, so and then that fight took a lot out of me. So I've just been regrouping, just getting myself back to where I was, and then this popped up. So I thought, why not get back to it?
Yeah. Yeah, and that makes sense as well because I remember that night you looked in a really bad way. And immediately after the fight ended, I could, we all saw you kind of rip your gum shield out, throw it away, and you could see the kind of breathing problems and the not just you're not even just like the surface damage, but kind of you could see you were badly hurt. I remember I was looking to talk to you post fight for an interview, and I turned around and you were coughing up blood into a bucket. So I was like,
Yeah,
I'll just
yeah.
leave you there. But what was that recovery process like following?
It was hard. Like obviously for a couple of weeks after, I was just sore, just really, really sore. Um, I don't know. I sort of like got a bit because I was so used to training and that all the time. I couldn't even do that, take my mind off things. So I just got a bit depressed, to be fair. But I've got no like shame in losing to Tony. Me personally, I think I can beat him, but that talking's cheap. I am coming back for that fight. Like that's got to happen again sooner or later, even if it's not for a belt. Like that fight needs to happen again because I can get that one back. But Yeah, recovery. It's just been chilling, basically, getting back to work, just chilling, spending time with my family, and just letting myself fully heal. Like when I fought Russell Pearce, I was badly injured after that fight, and he'd not really done much to me. It was just through training and sparring, and like my body were just in bits. But I couldn't turn the opportunity down for Tony because it was title. I thought it was bad timing, but I just rolled with it. So everything happens for a reason. At the end of the day, done it. My time will come. That's how I think.
What was the timeline like following that fight? So you just thought there's a period of recovery. When were you kind of able to get back into the gym and get training again?
To be honest with you, I didn't do it. I didn't do a thing for about 2 months, 3 months. Well, it's been 6 months since fight. I did the thing for about 2 or 3 months, and then I did a couple of runs, did a bit of bag work, and then I just had a bit more time off and just focused on some other stuff. And then Jim rang me literally 2.5, 3 weeks ago, offered me this fight, and I thought it was just a bit of motivation, like I've only trained maybe two weeks for this, but I've put it in. Like I'm ready to fight regardless. I'm always ready to fight. But it's been a short camp, so I think it'll do me a lot better. But yeah, like that's it really. A couple of runs and last 2 or 3 weeks just training hard, sparring some good amateurs, and that's been my training ever since that fight. The rest of it's just been relaxing and just enjoying not getting punched in the face. To be fair.
It must have been quite mentally, I guess, jarring to go from resting and recovering, then suddenly you get a call and you get told you're fighting in like 3 weeks. What's that process like to then get back into the gym and put the work in? Is there kind of like a sense of urgency when you're training now?
Uh, Sort of, yeah, but at the same time, like I know what, regardless of like how conditioned I am or how fit I am or any of that, I know what's in there and I know what's in there. Like so, and like I'm always in half decent shape anyway. Like I can still run for miles. I can still spar 5, 6 rounds, even out of camp, out of shape and stuff. The day after I got that call, I went and sparred a good boxer, and we did 5 rounds straight off at bat. And that was my first training session, and I kept up with him all the way. And then I've just progressed since then. I've been sparring amateur fighters for this camp. To be fair, I haven't really had my normal sparring partners around. I've had amateur fighters, so they've been a bit. It's a different sort of style, in and out, sharp. You've got to be very alert with them. So yeah, it's been good. It's been short, but it's been good.
Yeah, and I suppose it's because it's such short notice, it's a bit tougher to get things together as opposed to kind of like your opponent. Because one thing that we always talk about is, the guys who have planned to fight someone and then their opponent pulls out and someone else comes in. But it's just as a shock to you as well because you haven't, if anything, it's more of a shock to you actually because you haven't been training and suddenly this person who's been in camp for weeks, training for a fight that they've had a long notice for, is facing you. But you've only had like what 3 weeks to train, and I think that's something that
Yeah,
we don't really think about very often.
it's, I don't know if you're a fighter, you fight regardless. 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 1 week, one day. It don't matter to me. We can get it on. Obviously, it's a risky fight. Like Johnny's a tough guy. He don't win much, but he's a tough guy. And obviously, if I'm not on my A game, he could, all could happen. But I'm I'm always confident in my ability. Like no matter who I face, I'm always confident in what I can do. And I just believe I'll be too much on night, even with 3 weeks training. Like I say, I'm never really unfit. You know what I mean? So it's not like I'm just jumping off at sofa and I'm mega overweight and like, I'm never really unfit. I'm always active. I'm always doing something. So yeah, I'm good. I'm ready to go.
So you're fight ready now. Are you at 100% fitness? Are you fully recovered from that last fight?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I've got no injuries. Like that's one thing I needed to do after that. I couldn't take a fight up until now, to be honest. Even if I felt like I could, if you know what I mean, because my body wouldn't let me. It's brutal. It's not even the fight itself; it's the training camps that you have to go through, and the people you have to spar, and it's just horrible. Like I love to fight, but I hate to train. It's one of them. It's a love-hate thing.
Yeah, and they always say that the training's the hardest bit because when you come to fight night, all the work is done. You just go out and do what you do. But the training is the grueling part. That's the hard part.
Yeah, it is your sprints. Like you're taking shots. You're taking big, heavy shots off your sparring partners 2, 3 times a week. You're having to burn your legs out every day jogging. You're doing all this strength and conditioning. It's not only taxing on your body, it's your mind as well. Like you think you could be as fit as you, but you're that fatigued. You don't feel like you're that fit. You feel sort of thing. But it's all a mental game in this game. As long as you keep telling yourself and you know where you are up here, you'll be all right.
That attitude you have to fighting is kind of like visualization of how good you are, I guess. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always confident. Everyone calls me cocky. I may be that, but I'm always confident. I believe I beat anyone at 74 to 76 kilogram. Like on my day, I believe I beat anyone on this planet in a bare knuckle boxing match. That's just my attitude. If I didn't think that, I wouldn't be here doing this.
Yeah, and like we all know how good you are as well. We've seen time and time again you put out these performances, these really high level performances, and we know how good of a boxer you are. I think it'll be interesting to see because we all saw how badly hurt you got, and you've been out the ring a while. And like you said, you've only been in camp for what, 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
Yeah, yeah,
To see you come back and to see how you perform kind of after that fight would be, I think people are eager to see that.
yeah. I'm just coming to put on a good performance. I'm coming for a win. I'm coming to put on a good performance. I'm gonna. I've switched a few things up. Like last year, all my fights, if you noticed, I was pretty flat footed and like I took a different approach to fights because it were. But I'm going back to my roots for this fight. Like you're gonna see some class and some skill, and yeah, just do what I do. Too sharp.
You say you're incorporating changes. Does that mean you're going to be kind of lighter on your feet, kind of moving about the ring more?
Just back to my roots, how I used to box. Like if people who've seen me box before, it's just a flashy style, good footwork, fast hands, head movement. People call it risky, but it's just what I do. Like that's how I fight. And obviously, if people have tried to change things on me, like say that flat footedness, stand my ground a bit more, hands up, like all this sort of stuff. Like I'm doing my own thing. Like I've not even got a team or out for this fight. Like it's all off my own back. Everything. I'm literally just an independent fighter at the minute. I've got no team, no coach, no training partners, and it's just it. I'm just doing my own thing. I've got an amateur coach helping me out, doing bits and bats and showing me little bits and bats and putting me through my paces. But yeah, I'm pretty much going solo on this one.
Is that a conscious decision, or is that kind of due to the short notice?
Bit of both, to be fair. Obviously, if I had 10 weeks' notice, I'd probably find a camp where I want to be. But yeah, I left that gym what I were at after that last fight a few weeks after, and then I hadn't really looked for a gym. So I've just when I took this fight, I thought, you know what, I'll just get myself fit. I know plenty of people I can spar with.
When does your camp stop?
I'll probably. I meant to be going through to Wigan on Sunday actually to spar with John Collier. Um, and then that'll be my last spar. And then probably do some sprints Monday. Then I'll probably just run it out. And then about Wednesday, do a little light shadow box pad session. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, chill, stretch, might weight, all that sort of bullshit what comes with it.
So really, it's basically what, a 3 week camp, if that.
Yeah. But like I say, it don't matter to me. Like my weight were good for this. I'd have never been able to make it before, but I've sort of kept my weight down, even though I've not really been training over the last 3, 4 months. I've kept my weight right down. So when I got called, I jumped on scales and I only had like 4 kg to cut. I thought, we can do this. Normally it'd be about 10. Like before, if I got 10 week notice, I'd have about 9, 10 kilograms to cut. So I thought, yeah, it's doable, so we'll do it.
And are you on track to make weight?
Yeah, 100%. I think I'm pretty much there. To be fair, I've just had a meal, and before I had my meal, I was 76 kilogram. I think fights at 75, so I'm there.
Is there kind of like extreme dieting then, and a lot of cutting the calories and stuff a lot then?
They used to be, but like I say, I've been a bit more professional with it now. Before I used to have like a Ricky Hatton attitude, have a fight, and then I'd blow up 2.5 stone, and then I'd cut it back down. But it's not good for your health neither, like long run. So I'm eating healthier these days, like out of camp. I always eat healthy in camp, like I'm always doing the right thing, what I should be doing in camp. But out of camp's a different story, and I've started to like switch that up. So I'm living an healthier lifestyle out of camp now, so it's not as hard to make the weight or get as fit for fights.
Yeah, and we talk a lot about people at the top of this game living the life, not just in camp, but out of camp as well. Like you got to be fully dedicated, being good, being strict with your diet, even when you're not training for a fight, because like the situation we're in now, you can get a call at a moment's notice and say, here's a fight, do you want to take it? I think that's a testament to your professionalism and your status as being one of the best in the game.
Yeah. No, it's you've got to be. You've got. I mean, if you cut corners in this game, you're going to get found out. If you don't put the work in, you're going to get found out. If you don't get yourself mentally ready, you're going to get found out. Like there's a lot of people out there that talk a good game about fighting and talk, but like if talking's all good and well till you get smacked in the mouth, you know, and then we'll see what you're all about.
Yeah, and of course, there's that famous Tom Ross line where he says that the ring is the biggest lie detector.
100%, I agree with it. Because take it back to the Levici fight, I didn't train a day for that fight. I literally did about 3 days, and then I spent 4 weeks on beer. And then I just turned up in London and fought him. I didn't know who he was. I thought I'll just beat him up. He's a nobody, and I got found out. And yeah, it's right. It is the biggest lie detector. There's nowhere to hide in there. If you can't fight, but you talk like you can fight, you're gonna get found out.
For sure. Let's talk a little bit about your opponent now, Jonny Lawson.
Jonny
He's
Lawson.
he is coming off the back of a loss. He doesn't have the best record on BKB, but that might make him more dangerous because he might feel like he's got something to prove. And of course, anything can happen in this game. How are you feeling about this fight?
To be fair, it's just another fight to me. Obviously, I respect Jonny. I know him. George might have told you we all had a good drink together one night in London, and it just ended up wild. So I know him like personally. He's a good guy. I respect him a lot. Obviously, he's just an absolute savage, and he just fights everybody, anybody, and he don't care. Turns up, fights, and that's it. So you can't not respect him. But skill set wise, I just feel like I'm above. Like, and that's no disrespect again. Like I love his style. How he just comes forward, he fights, he scraps, But I just feel like I'm levels above where we are in that like skills. So that's my view on it. Anyway, I'm not overlooking him. I'm not thinking it's an easy fight at all. I'm training my ass off in the time what I've got to get the win. But I just feel like the skills will shine on night.
Fighting someone like you that can make people want to work harder, because when the bar is this high, people are more determined to raise their own level, especially in this bare knuckle game. Anything can happen. One punch can end it all. It's not an easy fight, and I don't think people might see this and think, oh, Reece is miles ahead of Jonny, but anything can happen in this game.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, he's not a mug, is he? He's not no joke. If you look at some of the scraps he's been in, it's not like the ones what he's lost to all the top guys. It's not like he's been beaten up badly. He's rocked a few of them. He's gone distance with them. He's had a good fight with them. So it's not like a guy who comes and gets knocked over. Do you know what I mean? So it's a risky fight, but it's a good fight for both of us. I think. I think his style and my style clashes, but I believe I get my hand raised with them two styles.
Yeah, and I think one thing about Jonny is that he doesn't give up ever. He's got heart, and he just loves to fight. You can see that. And
Yeah.
despite not having the best record, I don't think his record is indicative of how good he is as a fighter, because there's that fighting spirit in him that you either have or you don't, and he has it.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, if on paper he's practically one of the most experienced bare knuckle fighters in the world,
Yeah,
isn't
yeah,
he?
for sure.
And he's literally fought all the best in the game. He's fought how many champions, world champions, British champions. You can't knock the guy. I've got nothing but respect for him. I'm sure we'll scrap it out and have a pint afterwards.
Do you think it's going to go the distance? Do you think it will end early?
All I know is I'm getting my hand raised regardless. Like if it goes distance, it goes distance. If it ends, it's me getting the knockout. That's it. If it goes distance, it's me getting my hand raised on points. Regardless, I'm winning. I'm coming back for that title. That's what I want after this. So it's after this fight. I've heard Tony's possibly vacating to move on to do bigger things. So after this fight, I want this title in July or September, whoever wants it at my weight. But that's the fight I want.
Would you prefer to fight Tony again, just to kind of, in a sense, prove to yourself that you could beat him?
Of course. I mean, regardless of the title, if you're watching this, Tony, I'm coming for you. No. I want to fight him again because obviously it were like back and forth when it was just a good fight and I enjoyed it, but there were just things what I know I could have done better. Like it's frustrating when I watch it back because I know that I'm better than that sort of thing. Like I said, take nothing away from him. It was a class performance, but I feel I've got more to show than what we're on offer that night.
But of course, you'd still be open to fighting for the vacant title as well.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. That's what I want. Like if Tony rematching there, I want whoever for that title. I don't care anybody in my weight class.
Are you aiming for the belts? Is it about legacy and making history then?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, it's nice to get paid, for doing what we do because it hurts and it's it's nice to see a reward from it. But end goal is, of course, it's the belts like British title. Any of these, like say they're doing a prize fighter, chuck me in that, grab that belt, world title, all of them. That's what I'm aiming for. Belts, legacy, just to be remembered as one of the best, and came and got what I wanted.
I think that's a good place to end it there. That's Reece Murray. He's fighting Jonny Lawson at BKB 32 on May 21st. Thank you, Reece.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Thank you.